What's up everyone, Mainly Hockey Cards here, and several weeks ago I posted this video detailing every Young Guns in the 2021-22 Upper Deck Series 1 product. Purple Paladin in the comment section suggested I do more videos like this, and even with older products. And while I was initially hesitant and felt that these older products were saturated with content, no one was actually going over each and every individual player. So shout out to Purple Paladin, and today I'm going into the past and breaking down every Young Guns card from 2020-21 Upper Deck Extended Series. Every Young Guns will receive a grade from F to A with my opinion on their investment potential. I am not a financial advisor though. Please do your own due diligence and make your own decisions when investing in players. Starting things off, Arthur Kaliev has had a decent start to his NHL career. A noted goal scorer, Kaliev has 10 goals and 6 assists in his first 50 games. That's nothing groundbreaking, but he's got all the tools to be a great scorer in the league in coming years. And he's still very young with a history of great performance at every level. I think his Young Guns are a steal right now at around $5 to $6. Joel Hofer hasn't had a tremendous start to his pro career, but he did get a cup of coffee with St. Louis this year, and he's still only 21 years old. He's got time to fine-tune his game. The 6'7" Logan Stanley has 9 points in 40 games as a defenseman in a strong Canadian market in Winnipeg. It's a respectable total, but I'm not sure he has much hobby value, given he's never been all too noticeable at any level offensively. Could be a fan favorite, though. Callum Booth has not played an NHL game, and while he is 24, he's in his 5th season in the minors and has mostly played in the ECHL this year. As with goalies, I will never cross anyone out, but his numbers, playing time, and situation on the depth chart are all not very promising. At only 21, Cameron Hillis has played in the ECHL, AHL, and NHL this season, making his debut in January. He was a solid playmaker in the OHL and has produced very well since a lackluster AHL season last year. With the Montreal market and room for him to go up in the depth chart, I won't rule him out. Ingham has not had a solid start to his pro career, plain and simple, but he's only 21, and I'll keep saying it over and over with goalies. You never know. I wouldn't put too much into him, but maybe worth it to hold on to a card for the long haul just in case. Connor Mackey is a 25-year-old defenseman that has put together 2 strong pro campaigns so far. He's not afraid to mix it up, put points on the board, and likely will work himself into a lineup eventually. I'm not sure of how much value he ultimately has, though. Cody Curran is a 32-year-old defenseman who's put up 26 points in 51 AHL games over the past 2 seasons. Great story, but he's 32. It might just be too late. Patrick Kodorenko is a 23-year-old centerman with 24 points in his first 61 AHL games with no NHL action. He's young enough that I don't think you can completely rule him out, but the production does need to go up soon. Artem Zub is 26 years old and has 28 points in his first 96 games for a struggling Ottawa Senators team. All things considered, these are actually really solid numbers, and I put him in the B range because he looks like a guy that could score 30 points in a full season and be in the league for another 10 years. And if he has a couple seasons with more points, then even better. Frederick Hendemark is 28 and is already back across the ocean, splitting time this season in Sweden and Russia. Only 1 point in 8 NHL games, likely won't see him come back. Cam Johnson is 27, and while usually I'm all about the goalies, he has struggled mightily at the AHL level, and unless Merzlikins, Korpisalo, and Tarasov all get injured, I'd be surprised if he ever plays an NHL game, at least in Columbus. It's grim, but that's where we're at here. Jake Bischoff hasn't played an NHL game since 2019-20, doesn't have much offensive upside at all, and has been injured the entire year. He's also 27, enough said here. Hayden Verbeek has 3 points in 16 AHL games this season, has also struggled to produce in prior seasons, comes from a great hockey family, but he just hasn't been able to replicate the previous success. At 24, time is ticking and it's not looking good. Joseph Kozhanaj has struggled mightily at the AHL level this season, so has fellow goalie Ivan Prosvetov. The Coyotes organization as a whole has been pretty brutal of late, so cross your fingers this is more of a product of situation as opposed to play, though it looks like that isn't the case. Alexei Heponiemi is a player I am still excited about, but I really thought he'd make the NHL jump this season. He just turned 23 and has 24 points in 31 AHL games this year, as well as getting 4 NHL games. I think it's just a matter of time before he makes an NHL impact, and what better place to do it than the offensive powerhouse that is the Florida Panthers. Though recently injured, Jack Rathbone is the undisputed #1 defenseman in Abbotsford in the AHL, and he has 21 points in just 19 games as a defenseman. His defensive play has also seen improvements, which is a great sign. He's seen limited NHL action, but the thought of him and Quinn Hughes together is downright scary. His Young Guns at around $2 could very well be the best play of the Upper Deck Extended Series. Sasha Chmelevski, I hope I pronounced that right, is a 22-year-old centerman in the Sharks system who's put together 3 solid AHL campaigns so far. I think he will find himself with a roster spot pretty soon for an NHL club, though in a contract year, it's tough to know if that'll be on San Jose or not. Regardless, I think he could work his way up a depth chart if an opportunity arises. Alex D'Orio is almost 23 years old and hasn't enjoyed much success at the AHL or ECHL levels this season. However, he has time to rectify that, and he's definitely got more potential than Cam Johnson. Kevin Ball is a fan favorite in Utica this year, and he's had a decent season with 12 points in 38 games. Just 21 years old, a big part of the Taylor Hall trade, and will likely be a regular on an NHL blue line pretty soon. The Mikko Lehtinen experiment was supposed to pay off for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it just didn't. While Lehtinen did just win Olympic gold, he's back in the KHL, already 28, and I'll be surprised if he ever comes back to the NHL. The 25-year-old Austin Strand is a defenseman having 2 relatively productive seasons to begin his pro career. He's gotten some looks in the NHL, but nothing really stands out. A total wild card on this list, I'm not sure what you're going to get from Mikhail Maltsev. He was traded to Colorado this offseason, and he hasn't scored a point in 18 NHL games this year after he looked pretty good for New Jersey last year. But he is almost a point per game in the AHL. He's about to turn 24, and it's hard to break into that Avalanche lineup, so it's worth keeping an eye on, but don't set your expectations too high on him. At almost 24 years of age, Cole Holtz hasn't been all too successful at the pro level. He had a nice college career, but just hasn't translated for the defenseman. There is still time, but I just don't see him having much potential for value. Reese Johnson has 4 points in 18 games this year, primarily playing in a fourth-line role. He's currently coming back from an injury, probably a consistent checking line forward with limited offensive upside. Glenn Gaudin is almost 25, but on contract with the Flames and has been going almost a point per game in the AHL. While the Flames are rolling, he most likely will continue to play in the minors, but like this next player, maybe all he needs is a chance. Michael Bunting is a little bit on the older side at 26 years of age, but let's be honest, he's been spectacular for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year and has filled the void left by Zach Hyman pretty admirably. He's a fan favorite and should be a mainstay in a very nice Canadian market for the foreseeable future. He's a late bloomer, but still has more potential and ultimately just needed a chance. Drew O'Connor got off to a hot start for the Penguins with 5 points in 4 games. Rather unsustainable, though, as he went pointless in the next 19. He got sent to the AHL, where he has 5 points in 5 games and could find himself back on the big club soon. Nolan Foote is having a solid start to his pro career in the Devils system. He has 40 points in 64 AHL games over 2 seasons. Having just turned 21 in November, he's going to take some more seasoning in the minors, but should find himself with all the chances to succeed with the Devils in the near future. He's got size, plays with an edge, and he can produce. He'll likely play alongside Hughes or Hischier at one point or another, which is not a bad thing. Finally, Young Guns checklists are Young Guns checklists. This one isn't as big as other checklists, but these things always sell no matter the market. Let me know in the comment section below what series you want covered next. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Thanks, everyone.